Hello and welcome back to Robot Academy. This lab will simulate a crane game, one you might see in an arcade, though this crane game will be much more consistent in actually grabbing the object. It will set up the x and y coordinates of the crane by setting up prismatic joints that adjust the crane's position. We will adjust these positions through a UI element that slides the x and y axis into position. We will attach a gripper that will act as the main crane mechanism. We will then program the crane to descend, close the gripper, attach the object, then ascend back to the neutral position. We will then be able to adjust the x and y coordinates again before opening the gripper and detaching the object from the crane to release the object in the desired position. For this first module, we'll simply be setting up the environment. We want to set up a ceiling for the crane to attach to, set up a basket for the crane to release objects into, and set up a grippable, detectable object that's going to be lifted. So the first step is to create the ceiling that the crane attaches to. Come over to the model browser, open the equipment folder and the panes folder. We're going to use a glass pane as the ceiling. Simply drag and drop the 2x2 glass pane into the simulation environment. Now we need to rotate this so that it's a ceiling and get it set up so it's in the right position. So select the pane and click Object Item Rotate. We're going to rotate around the x-axis by 270 degrees and around the z-axis by 180 degrees. Next, you want to enter the coordinates. With the pane selected, press Object Item Shift mode and enter the coordinates given in the document. Now that we have our ceiling set up, we're going to add a basket for us to drop items into. Come over to the model browser again. In the household folder, drag and drop the large basket item into the scene. Now we can adjust the geometry so that it better suits our needs. Click the plus icon next to the basket in the scene hierarchy and double-click the basket visible icon. Here, we click the View Modify Geometry button, and we're going to uncheck the Keep Proportions box. And we're going to scale the x by a factor of 0.75, the y also by a factor of 0.75, and the z by a factor of 3. This gives us a taller, narrower basket for us to drop items into. Now, let's apply the coordinates so that our basket is set up in the correct position. Click the basket in the scene hierarchy, go to Object Item Shift, and apply the coordinates we have in our documentation. Now our basket is set up in the corner, which is where we will drop our crane items into. The last part in setting up the environment will be adding an item that we are going to be picking up with this crane. We're going to add a shape through the menu bar, come to Add, Primitive Shape, and Cuboid, and select OK. The cuboid can be anywhere under the glass. It doesn't really matter where it is. We need to make the cuboid detectable so that when our gripper comes into play, we can detect the object and attach it to the gripper. Double-click the cuboid icon in the scene hierarchy, go to the Common tab, and make sure the detectable box gets checked. That's it for this module. Our environment's all set up. In the next lab, we'll be building our crane mechanism by attaching a gripper to some prismatic joints. We will be programming these joints so we can control them with a UI element. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next module.